Órale, raza! Happy New Year, everybody. We are back with the final roundtable 61 of 2021. As we usher in the new year, 2022 of boxing, wishing for the best here. Being joined by El Capitan of HCP, D-Style Boxing, the one and only Mario Munguia, and as you all know, I am Joe Habib. Well, we have a smaller roundtable tonight. Not all their chairs are being filled, but it's New Year. It's New Year's Eve closing in on us, so people got their things to do or whatever. But we still soldier on as we always do here at HCP. Not a lot of fights, but I want to talk about the year of 2022 and the state of the game of boxing and how it's going to be in 2022. And I want to get started with who's going to be the big breakout star next year for boxing. Because we all know that these matchups that we've been waiting on, they haven't been coming to fruition, but they're still young and up and coming, lions waiting in the wings, and they want to, get their bite at the apple, so to speak. So D-Style, let me start with you. Who do you think is going to be that breakout young up and coming star? Doesn't have to be young, but anyone who's going to be that up and coming star in 2022.
There's been a name that I've had in mind since I saw the topics, and to me, it's going to be, and by breakout star, that means someone who no longer anywhere near like in the radar like that, but it's going to just pop out, right? Outside of us hardcores, well, we know everybody, right? But it's going to be the year where Xander Zayas shines. I think it's going to be the year that, just like this year, a lot of people were really sold on a lot of guys, like for sure. I think that's going to happen with Xander. They're moving him along. He's very, very active. He's already outgrown welterweight, it seems. He's going to be campaigning at 154. There's a lot of openings there. There really is. And look, I'm not saying he's going to be like a top 10 contender by the end of the year, but he's going to be somebody we're going to be watching and looking at. I'm very disappointed with Top Rank with moving his fight from televised to plus to put Ali Walsh on the televised portion, because in the long run, I think that's going to bite them in the ass. So this is the next generation's big Puerto Rican fighter, and that's going to precede Miguel Cotto. This is it. People have been asking, Cotto followed Trinidad. Who's going to follow Cotto? It's going to be Xander Zayas, and next year is going to be a big exclamation point for him.
And we got Sutter Kane joining us.
Yo, what's
Welcome,
good,
my friend? How you doing, brother?
I came here to talk some boxing. I don't want to talk no politics. I don't want to talk no bullshit.
We're going to talk about our lives right now, what we did last weekend. You know what I mean?
What?
Yeah, wait, that's what we're talking
Santa's
about.
Christmas list episode? No, I'm playing.
Nah, I didn't even see that. I was getting fellatio from a beautiful woman at that time, so I don't even remember.
Oh my god, little too much information,
Yeah.
but that's all right. That's how we do it.
That's always preferable.
Nah, I mean, you know
That's how we do it. That's how we do it.
If you're gonna miss a roundtable, it's a good reason to miss a roundtable.
You gotta live by your rep. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. So
that's actually his handle on IG. Is fellatio.
What, live by your rep?
Kidding. I shouldn't have said that.
Oh,
no.
shit.
Go ahead.
So we're talking about 2022, right? And the first topic is who's gonna be the breakout star next year in boxing?
I already got that plan. Y'all live? We live right now?
We live, brother. Of course,
Yeah, we're live.
Oh shit, nigga. All right, here we go.
You just told the whole world you got fellatio from a girl last week during the roundtable and everything.
Oh, it's all good. All my bitches, they know what time it is.
And you were listening to the roundtable while you got you know what I mean? All that. Anyway, go ahead.
Had to go around listening to the roundtable. Nice.
All right, check it. Yo, who I think is gonna break out is Conor Benn. Conor Benn 2022 all day. Conor motherfucking Benn and stuff, yo. I can't wait till we get to the next one because D-Style is gonna be pissed.
All right. Mario.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be that guy?
Listen, I gave a lot of thought to this, and here's the thing. For it to be that guy, it's got to be for me, it's got to meet two criteria. It's got to be a guy who obviously isn't on the radar, like D said, right? That's a big part of it. But it also has to be somebody who can offer something else to get these shots. It's not going to be a Boots Ennis. You know, it's not going to be somebody like that because everybody knows how good he is, and he's going to continue to be avoided, and he's not going to get these chances. So who are the guys that have something to offer, right, and can become stars, yet don't possess the kind of imminent danger that usually keeps star-making performances like the other stars out of the ring? You know what I'm saying? And so at the top of my list is Montana Love. And I know you hear that name and it doesn't scream breakout star.
No
but
way.
You have to hear me out on this, okay? This is a guy who's got real talent. And if you go down the list of what he offers up, okay, he has a good-looking smile. He's well-spoken. He's got the social media accolades. He has other ventures that pull in fans from different avenues that aren't just boxing, okay? And here's the big thing. He was on Eddie Hearn's wish list. Eddie Hearn recently was on the DAZN boxing podcast, I think it was, and Eddie dropped his wish list. I know most of y'all saw it right on Twitter. We a lot of us were talking about it, and Montana Love was on the top of that list. You know, for guys with Cambosos, and it doesn't matter at the end of the day who it is. It's a guy like that can be that guy. One more name I want to throw out there is William Cepeda. If anybody saw him fight this year, he's 24-0 with 22 knockouts. When I say Cepeda, I don't mean that he's going to be the next Canelo or household name or anything. All I mean is this is a guy relatively unknown that could be shining in a very bright light by the end of 2022.
Got you. Kenny T, welcome, my friend. Who's the guy for you, brother?
Thank you. Pardon for the lateness. Had to get pretty for you guys.
No problem,
and for the community, you already know. But 2022
hair looks good, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. 2022.
A lot of weird energy going on here.
I got Jared Anderson. I got Jared Anderson being breakout star in 2022. The only heavyweight that I really see that I feel maybe ducks and dodges fights is maybe Fury. You know what I'm saying? I haven't really seen any other heavyweight that ducks and dodges fights. Everybody else fights each other. I think that Jared Anderson is an unavoidable talent. I think that he's going to 100% become a mandatory if he isn't already climbing up the ranks, which he should be. And I think if the Usyk and Joshua fights happens flawlessly, and I don't even know if I'm going to see Fury fighting, honestly. He sounds like he'd rather retire than fight. But I think that we see him getting a potential title opportunity depending who wins that Usyk-Joshua fight and depending what happens with Fury. If Fury is looking like he wants to retire or relinquish the belts, not to have to fight mandatory. So if he does relinquish the belts, I could definitely see Jared Anderson fight for one of those belts and becoming an undeniable star talent. He already got the talent. He just needs to be seen more.
Yeah. I wanted to say Jerome Boots Ennis so bad, but I know nobody's gonna fight him next year. I know
Conor Benn, baby.
I know Conor Benn ain't gonna go near him.
Man, Conor Benn will destroy him.
Ain't gonna go near him. They already said that they ain't gonna go near him. They already said it.
You know why, right? Because they're building it up. So the whole point is to get his money.
You had your time. Let the beat burn. Let the beat burn.
I feel you.
Let the beat burn.
I feel you.
They already said they ain't gonna go near him. But I wanted to say him so bad, but I'm with Kenny. You know, America has been waiting for that next athletic, polarizing, dynamic, power punching, guy with charisma, a guy that has pizzazz, and that is Jared Anderson. That is Jared Anderson. Definitely. And like Kenny said, the heavyweights, they fight each other. There is really no avoidance there because all those fights are big money fights up there, right? And he's got the machine behind him. He's got Top Rank. Who can build stars better than Top Rank? Nobody really, right? What's he, like 22 years old? The world is his oyster right now. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think he's gonna make some noise next year. Maybe he gets a Joe Joyce fight. You know, maybe he gets a big fight. Maybe he gets a Joseph Parker fight. You know, maybe he gets a fight with Derek Chisora over in the UK. Get some exposure over there. Who knows? But like I said, these welterweights, nobody wants. Virgil Ortiz, no one's gonna fight him. Jaron Ennis, no one's gonna fight him unless they have to, right? But Big Baby, you know, I think he can get some fights, like Kenny said. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the next topic. If you guys could have 3 wishes in 2022 for the sport of boxing, what would they be? Sutter Kane, I know you want to get in here. Go ahead.
Oh, I
brother.
can't wait.
Go ahead.
My
What are your 3 wishes?
first wish is one of my. I don't know why I'm putting the biggest one first, but it's Arthur Beterbiev to knock out Canelo 100%. That's my first wish. Arthur Beterbiev to completely floor him. Look at D-Style. Look at. Yep. Yeah, D. I want Arthur Beterbiev to floor him. My second one is Conor Benn to beat the shit out of Virgil Ortiz if that ever happens. My third one is maybe Conor Benn even comes back that same year and says, you know what? I'm going to take on Boots and knock him out too. Those are my 3.
All right.
Yep.
Kenny T, what are you up 3, brother?
I got for you my 3 wishes that we have a lot less pay-per-views in the coming year.
Kenny,
That's my number 1 wish right there. Number 2, Spence versus Crawford. We've all been waiting for that fight for like 4 or 5 years now, you know. Since Crawford said he was coming up to 147, we've been waiting for that, you know. So it's time to happen unless Spence is gonna dodge it, which I have a feeling is what everybody feels, along with myself.
Yeah.
Third wish, I wish that we stop having these cross the street conversations, and I wish that these promoters stop thinking about their own pockets and start thinking more about the fans and the fights and actually growing the sport of boxing. They're thinking about maximizing on the clientele that they currently have in boxing, but think about it. If you give a lot more better free fights to the public, you're going to get a bigger following. You're going to have more people buying pay-per-views, even if it's at a lesser fight or just going to the stadium to watch more fights. Bigger following equals bigger money. It's simple math, if you ask me, and I would just love to start seeing the bigger, better fights that we've all been looking for, and not the ducking and dodging with the across the street conversations that we've been hearing.
I got you. Shout out to El Padrino 69 with the $2 super chat. He said Canelo, Beterbiev, Haney, Kambosos, Crawford, Ortiz. Those are good wishes. Those are solid.
Padrino. You saw how you rolled that R and everything.
I had to do it. D, what you got, brother?
I wish, you know, like in those Aladdin movies, how the genie always has like 3 rules, like 3 things that are not going to happen. You know what I mean? Like you could wish on anything except this, this, and this, right? That's what the genie told Sutter Kane. He still wished for it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, I can't make this dude knock out Canelo. What do you mean? You know, but I'll tell you what I wish. I wish upon a start. I'm going to think about the sport as a whole, right? I wish this for the sport. More relevant, good fights on free television. That's number 1, right? I think PBC, it looks like they're going to have an extent that it was up to Fox if they wanted to give them this extra year or not. It looks like they're going to go with it. How about you stop giving us crappy fights on regular Fox and give us some good fights? You know, that's number 1. I'm hoping for better fights whenever they're available on free television. Another one is less pay-per-views. Yeah. Just it's okay to fight on Showtime, Tank. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's okay to go fight on the Zone if Uncle Eddie, if Tio Dinero has the feria, if he's got the money, and it's okay to fight over there. You know, there's nothing wrong with that, Tank. If they give you $2-3 million to fight on the Zone, it doesn't matter if it's on an app, you know. So that's another one. And another one is this. I hope that that for women's boxing, and boxing in general, just the promoters to start working together more often. Okay, more cross-promotional fights, because that's how we get the fights we want more often, right? The only time they do cross-promotional fights really is because it's a fight fans really want and they're going to make money doing it. That's the only really real time to do it. Otherwise, they like to keep it in-house, you know, so more cross-promotions. So I'll go with those 3.
Mario, what are your 3 wishes?
Well, I'm gonna take 4 and hold them at gunpoint and say that I wish that all of y'all channels grow exponentially in 2022. There are too many
Thank you, kind sir.
fans that are out there spewing nonsense and things that aren't true because they don't listen and they don't follow. You know, a lot of the guys that have been there. I mean, I don't know how many of y'all know how long Beeb's been doing this or D's been doing this. And, you know, Kenny, a lot of you guys, just great content. But I also want to say, I'm going to echo this. That's why I'm going to take this not too long here because y'all said it, you know, fewer pay-per-views. One of the biggest fights this year in terms of viewership was the 1.865 million average viewers that Vito Milanecki and Delomba did. Okay, it peaked on average. The event is a total 2,726,000, and it got over 5 million viewers at peak. Okay, and so tell me that, you know, guys like, and I know these names might not make a lot of sense, but tell me guys like Crawford and Spence, it wouldn't be bigger names right now if they had, you know, if they were able to at least showcase some of their skills sometimes on free TV. And I'm not trying to take money out of the fighters' pockets. I'm not trying to shorten purses. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm trying to grow this sport. Or that's what I want, is this sport to grow. And I promise you that if those 5 million, 6 million people would have been able to see the best our sport has to offer, no offense to Vito, no offense to Lomba, no offense to Joey Spencer who fought that night, no offense to none of those guys. But if these guys could see, if the most eyeballs could be on our best talent, we would get return customers every single time. Every single time. Guys making must-see fights. The other thing I do want to talk about is I hope that Corona is contained. I hope that, you know, we don't have to go back to no audience. The one thing we learned, despite the fact that I was glad they put boxing back on without, you know, live attendance, you know, so that we could just get it. At the end of the day, we know without a doubt that, you know, boxing is better with crowds. And even if a fight is great, it can still be great. It's always greater with fans. That's just the bottom line. Last thing is I want a true rival for Canelo. I don't care how they do it, but I want 2022 to end with somebody saying, we got to see that fight, whether it's Charlo or Andre. You know, I go back and I look at the fights with Julio Cesar Chavez. Like, where is Canelo's, you know, De La Hoya, or I mean, De La Hoya is kind of, I guess, like a little, you know, whatever, but, you know, like, where are these rivals that we had back then, like Meldrick Taylor, you know, even Roger Mayweather? De La Hoya at one time had Ricardo Mayorga as his rival, and it sold so much. Fernando Vargas, do you all remember those promotions? They were incredible. Caleb Plant, as good as it was, I mean, it wasn't a real true rival, and that's what I want to see by the time 2022 ends. Or that's my wish.
Can I just add to your thing real quick? I think Arthur Beterbiev is going to be his. I think Arthur Beterbiev is going to be his rival. Yeah, I think so. D Styles doesn't want that because he's scared, but I think that's going to be it.
Look, you see how he said that?
No, see, look at that. See, look at that. See, look at that. Look, see, look at that.
Like, he doesn't even believe what he's saying.
He's trying to play a poker face right now.
Now he wants to
be a poker face.
Now he don't want me to respond. Like, now I'm scared of the response. Now he wants to talk over me. You know what I mean? It's okay.
Look at that. Look at that. See?
Check this out.
Fake news.
Okay, let me just tell you this idea that I'm scared of Canelo fighting Beterbiev. Look, just sign the pledge, brother. You know what I mean? Once Canelo beats him, you got to join the Canelo movement against all the dudes that are going to be saying, oh, he was tailor-made for Canelo. Why doesn't Canelo fight slick style? We all know that's the style that gives him problems. Why do you fight this guy that's tailor-made for him? When people are saying all that shit after he beats him,
he's not going to beat him, bro. If it's 2022, he's not going to beat him. I told you, if it's 2022, I'm down.
Put your right hand up and just say,
2022, I'm down. If it's 2022,
right hand
up
and pledge for me. That's all I want.
2022, I'm down.
Pledge.
2022.
Right hand up.
Let me tell you,
and pledge.
If he beats him in 2022, I will be a Canelo fan. Meaning, like, no more Canelo bad talk on here, unless it's just some real left field shit. But no, 2022, I gotta see. I don't want to see him when he's 40 years old, and I don't want to hear this Charlo talk.
So it's Canelo's fault that he's 37. Like, it's his fault.
Oh, come on, man. Bro, I'm just saying.
So
like, we
Canelo made his parents like have sex like too many years ago. Or
bro,
it's a family show here.
So he just moved. Like, so Canelo needs to move on his time because he's old. Like it's not his fault. He's old.
Bro, it's the whole point. It's
Go
not
fight
his fault. He should
Bivol.
fight him
Go
right
fight
now.
somebody.
Okay, check this out. If everybody's
How
hyped
about
right now
that?
to see this fight, if everybody's hyped right now, why don't we just see the fight? Then?
I'll watch
Why
the
we gotta
fight. He's
wait?
gonna beat his ass.
Okay, we're gonna see.
This clock. This whole he's got to do it in 4 months and 7 days
20
or else. Come on,
2022.
stop.
2022. And real talk, and this is totally left field. I don't want to hear the Charlo Canelo shit because Charlo doesn't stand a fucking chance against Canelo. This guy, Beterbiev, has a chance. That's the guy I'm going with.
I think what's
That's the
going to
guy I'm going
happen,
with.
though, in my opinion, I think that Joe Smith and Beterbiev, since they're
Oh,
both
gosh.
they're both top ranked fighters, they'll fight first, and then Canelo will fight. He'll fight them two, like to get 2 belts instead of 1.
Look,
Yeah,
he got
I
off
think he's
camera,
more
but he
interested
can't.
in
He's hiding the
Undisputed than
tears.
anything. And it's like if
Look,
he
now
can
he
get
jumped back
belts
on.
faster, then why not?
Yeah.
I
So
really
I
don't
think-
care about Joe Smith. I mean, Joe Smith's got beaten by like everybody. Like,
Yeah.
does
Joe
he ask you a question? Does Joe Smith still do like the whole common man thing? Like, because I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't follow Joe Smith no more.
Yeah.
He still does it?
Hard-working man.
He's from
Yeah,
New
like-
York.
Yeah.
He's from New York. You don't follow him, bro?
No, man. He's like Mr. Bruce Springsteen. I mean, I know Bruce Springsteen's from fucking Jersey, but I'm just
Jersey,
saying,
right.
like,
Yeah.
I really don't follow.
Did he just call him the Bruce Springsteen of boxing?
He basically, he's like the the common man. Like,
He's like a legend,
know.
like a
no,
boxing
not
legend
like that. I'm talking about like a guy you can see.
Man,
Like,
he's
goddamn.
in a
guy.
union. He's in a
You can-
union, bro. You gotta respect him.
That's
He's a
what I'm
working
saying.
man.
Where
No,
was he
I do-
born?
no.
Southern King?
Let's get it straight. I
Where was he
totally
born?
respect him. He's in Long
Born
Island, I
in
think.
He's in local
born in
22.
USA.
He's
Yeah,
in
that's
local
right.
That's what I'm
22.
saying. No.
It's a labor's union,
Okay,
brother.
yo, Joe Smith, I totally respect. I don't disrespect. I respect him. What I'm saying is that I'm just not like like Joe
You know
Smith.
what
I know you call it the Bruce Springsteen of boxing. I mean,
You know what he actually-
That's what
you
I'm
know what
talking
actually-
about, though, bro.
Man.
I'm talking about the common man. Bruce Springsteen is supposed to be known as the common man.
I think
Meaning, like, you can go to a construction site and you see him out there with his guitar singing and pulling the dirt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think
that's Joe Smith.
I think Joe Smith got his own like tree cutting business now too.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah, he's
Well, at least he's
moving
smart to do that.
Well, he was born in the USA. So yeah,
I actually
he's a
think
Bruce
I'll see
Springsteen.
Canelo and Joe Smith first before I see Beterbiev.
That's what Bob
and Joe
said the
Smith.
other day. Bob said,
Yeah, I think I'll see
said he's
Canelo.
gonna
I think
fight
it's gonna be
Wait,
Canelo.
before
and
you
Joe
move
Smith
on,
first.
can I ask Sutter Kane a question in front of the world?
Go right.
Right. So,
Ask me anything.
did you not see the Vostik fight? Like when he beat Vostik?
Who?
Did
Joe
you not see
Smith?
that? No. Beterbiev. Did he not see that fight?
No, I didn't see that one. I don't think.
Go back and watch that. He was
Because
getting
I'm just
touched up.
amazed. I'm just amazed at how like
He was getting
I
touched
mean
up.
Beterbiev, not Beterbiev, but Beterbiev.
Oh,
Okay. I mean, he's the same dude that he was like after he beat the dude he just beat. Like,
okay. Check this out. I don't care if he's the
okay,
same
he beat-
dude
no,
or whatever.
let
He's gonna
me-
beat Canelo
before-
though.
I don't lose my train of thought. Hold on. So he beats Marcus Brown and dudes that were not even mentioning Beterbiev. All of a sudden are like, oh, Canelo, he's ducking him. You know what, Canelo? He got 6 months to fight him. Like what do you mean? Like, so why weren't they saying this before though? Why wasn't
Well, see,
his
I don't know
name
about the
brought
rest of
up
the
before?
people. I don't know
No,
about the rest of the people. I thought
Dudes
he
that
was
are
too
saying,
old.
oh, he's
personally.
not going to fight Beterbiev. He's scared of Beterbiev.
But-
Oh, Beterbiev.
but
He ain't going to fight him.
After that last
You weren't
fight,
saying
after that last
anything
fight, I was
before
like,
he beat
nah.
Marcus Brown got beat by Pascal.
But there's a big BUT.
Got
Not
knocked
brutally
down by
like that.
Pascal.
Not brutally like that. That was a fucking street fight. He beat the
Bro.
shit out of him.
Pascal's a grandpa, bro.
Pascal is
I'm
a grandpa.
saying.
I agree. All I know is this, man. All who fought who in the past, I just want to see the damn fight. I can care less. I really just want to see the fight. And I want to see the fight now. That's the whole point. I want to wait 4 years from now, 2 years from now. I want to see it now. This
He
way,
gonna
if
fight
he,
him next year.
this way, if he turns out this way, this is how I'm cool on being. That's way if he beats Canelo, he beats him now. If Canelo beats him, he beats him now. It's not like he was old and this and that. Let's just do it now. I don't want to fuck the build up. They both know. Let's just go now. I don't want to see Joe Smith.
You want it the next
they're
fight.
both known. That's
They're
not the
both
same
known.
level of known, though. But
I know that, but you know what I
got you're
mean,
saying.
bro.
I got what
You
you're
want
Yeah,
it.
I'm
You
just
want
saying-
it. You want it to be the next fight. You don't. You have no.
I want it to be the
patience.
next fight. Yeah, I want that should be the next fight.
I don't even
yo.
know if Beterbiev could beat Bivol. So I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh, he'll beat the shit out of Bivol.
Okay. Why
You
hasn't
think
he done
Bivol's
so?
good?
Yeah, Bivol's
You really
good,
think
yeah.
Bivol's good?
Yes, I do think Bivol's good.
Okay, I give you that.
So let me give.
I
my
mean, you think
opinion.
Conor Benn is good? I mean, it is what it is.
Conor
right?
Benn is fucking beastly,
I'm just
bro.
saying.
Conor Benn is beastly. He's better than goddamn what's the dude? He's better than Boots.
Ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, power is magnetic. to the steel of our desires.
Oh
Right?
my God,
A lot
the
of
childhood
fans,
philosophy.
a lot of fans fall in love with power. Like Sutter Kane, when he sees the power of this Russian, like to him, it's like a dude that was stuck in he was in an island and he hadn't seen a naked woman in like 10 years, and he finally saw one. That was Sutter Kane.
But he
saw the
liked,
power.
but he liked Caleb Plant, though. I don't know why he liked. What did you like about Caleb Plant? Like, what was your thing?
The thing I liked about
Because
Caleb Plant
it was a
his
slick
spirit.
thing.
It was his spirit. I liked his spirit. He gave a good fight. He didn't get destroyed. Like y'all said that everybody almost said, "Oh, he's going to be annihilated. He's going to have medical attention."
He was on all fours,
It was
brother.
a good fight.
If you end up in all fours in a boxing fight, that man beat the fuck out of you if you end up on all fours. I'm just saying.
I'm trying to tell you right now, the fight's coming up. Conor Benn is a beast. Conor Benn is a madman. Okay, his DNA is of psychopathic madmen. You feel what I'm trying to say? So, and he hits like a madman. Boots, bro, I've seen him get tagged so many times. I think if he gets tagged by the same Conor Benn type punch, he's going to sleep.
You don't like
Conor
Boots,
Benn's a beast, man.
I'm shocked you don't like Boots, bro. I can't.
Believe it or not, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. I really don't go with the crowd for anything. I always look at a fighter how I like a fighter and move with it. Like I'm dead serious. That's with anything, any type of sport. I was a Charles Barkley fan growing up, so imagine the Jordan fucking conversations I used to have.
You're talking about Tyson Fury. I was pulling for Tyson Fury even when he uppercutted himself in the face.
I knew about Tyson Fury when he was like 19 years old, and nobody I knew about him. And I used to always talk about Tyson Fury. I used to talk about Wilder. I used to talk about all of them. I never go with the like. Let's say if so and so is the top guy, I'm like, okay, if he's good, he's good. I'm gonna go with him.
So like, if the most of the population says 4 + 4 is 8, right?
Oh, come on,
oh no,
man.
it's not because
that's just common sense, though.
Y'all a bunch of sheep. It's 9.
All I know is this. All I know is this, my friend. All I know is this, man. Conor Benn comes from a DNA of killers, one particular. He's a monster.
His dad was bad.
His was a fucking beast, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, and you can see it in him. He's not like a Chavez Jr. or no shit like that.
Oh shit! Philly Irish Drew says, Kane, what you smoking, bro? Because I need some of that too. Conor Benn is a beast. Laughing my ass off. Only calls out semi-retired guys, bro. He goes, bro, you funny.
Okay, check this out. Who did Bruce Ennis just fight? That's what who was his last 2 fights?
Thomas Delorme is a beast, bro.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Thomas Delorme was on a 2-fight losing streak. Who else was before that?
He was like a high level, like mid guy. Like he was never like a
Lipinets? He went rounds with Crawford, man.
Oh, come on, bro.
No, Conor Benn deserves Conor Benn deserves a lot of credit because he started fighting guys in a row, having fight after fight that were meaningful. Like who does that when they have his kind of backing? You know, Conor Benn deserves a lot of credit for his resume up until this point.
Yeah, you can't hate on how they're moving Conor Benn.
Not at all. Not at all.
Conor Benn is I'll put it this way: if Conor Benn knocks out Broner amongst like the whole European crowd, he's a fucking star. Now it's time to get to the guys that I want to see him fight completely. Yeah. But as we have to go resume for resume right now, if we have to go for resume after resume right now, his resume is better than fucking Boots Ennis.
No, I think though you gotta also look at what Boots is doing against these guys. Like, how is he making them look? Has other people?
Yeah, but if we do that, then Ortiz is better than all 3 of them. So.
I mean, look,
I still want to see that fight too.
Those divisions are different. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I hear your point. I see it, and you're absolutely right. I don't disagree.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, you act like these. I'm not saying
these are great fighters.
Yeah.
Like, of the welterweight and junior middleweight divisions.
But Sergey Lipinets was a former world champion. Boots Ennis knocked him out. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Absolutely. And he was a really great
Chris Algieri was a former champion too.
That's good victory.
He beat. I mean, not just knock him. Wait.
He was 40.
Wait. Yo, Lipinets. He did stop Lipinets, right? Or they throw the towel?
Yeah, no, he stopped Lipinets. Yeah, he stopped.
He knocks fucking Chris Algieri out fucking cold.
That was
cold damn thing.
Conor Benn definitely knocked out Chris Algieri. Much worse than Errol Spence did. Much worse than Errol Spence did. And earlier.
It was a different fight, but yeah, no, y'all are right.
Okay, this is my theory, right? This is my theory to this. Every fighter is not the same after X amount of fights. So we all agree. I hope we all agree to that shit. Okay,
I think that's a fair assessment.
That's a very fair. So a lot of these guys ain't the same when they fought the guys that we're comparing them to. So I do agree to that. But I'm just saying, out of all the new guys who looks really fucking good is Conor fucking Benn. He don't look like the son of a fighter who just like a Chavez Jr. Like that's a perfect example. Like he don't look like you know, like I've had a legendary father, but I'm not that good. But I'm
He
gonna
looks
use
like
the
he can
name.
stand on his own too, is what you're trying to say.
Thank you. Like he can come out the shot. He's good, man. The dude's got a killer instinct. Like you can see it. His dad was a psychopath. I'm a firm believer on genetics,
I love
DNA.
his dad. His dad.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how could you not like Conor Benn? So, my brother, what are you smoking? Is it crack? Is it meth? What are you smoking, my brother? Okay, that's what I want to know. Please send another super chat in because I want to know what you smoking.
Yeah,
is it PCP?
Okay,
is it?
Yeah, I thought he made a good point. I'm sorry, Sutter King. I'm just saying.
But what's the point, though? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, if we compare them to the newcomers coming up, who has the better resume?
I mean, when somebody makes
really
a good point, they make a good point.
guys?
What can I say? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
Ben has potential. We got to give him that.
Yeah, man, y'all like Ben ain't shit. Ben is good.
I ain't gonna say Ben doesn't have potential.
But my thing is just really quick. So I get it, right? Like who has boots beat him, blah blah blah. But I mean, like
for the come up now,
and you were believing he was going to be Canelo. Like what?
I'm talking about for the come up. I'm not talking about the whole. I'm talking about right now for the come up. Like they're both coming up. So we got to compare come up resumes. I'm going with Conor Benn. He looks better in the fucking ring. Like he just does shit way better.
All right. Well, we'll see when he fights Virgil.
Let me give my three wishes.
He gonna beat Virgil. That shit is easy.
Let me give my three wishes real quick.
Go for it.
I want to see the heavyweight division become unified. I hope Tyson Fury. Well, if Tyson Fury does vacate that title, whoever fights for that WBC title and wins it, I hope they fight for undisputed. So I want to see the heavyweight division finally completely unified and we have an undisputed champion. That's number one. And I can't agree more with the pay-per-views. The pay-per-views are ridiculous. I spent almost $700 last year on boxing pay-per-views.
God damn.
$700 on pay-per-views. Right? That's crazy.
That's a lot, bro.
That's ridiculous, bro.
So you must have bought every single even shit that was like.
Well, towards the end of the year, like I didn't buy tanks. No, I did buy. Did I buy? I did buy tanks. I broke down.
You gave in. Oh my god!
I bought tanks. And it ended up being a good fight. So yeah, the pay-per-views they kicked the shit out of me. I'm gonna see if I can get a tax write-off this year on pay-per-views. So that's number two. Number three, I really do want to see Jaron Boots Ennis get a real signature win, man, so he can shut up a lot of people's mouths. Because he passes the eye test for me, but you're not the only critic, Sutter King. There's a lot of people that say, who's he fought? He's got to fight somebody. I want him to get that fight. Not only him, I want to see Virgil Ortiz get that fight too. And Conor Benn. I want to see the young Lions get their step up, their big step up fights next year. I want to see
for that crop. I'm not gonna lie, that crop is really fucking good. Like you get what I'm trying to say? Like that new crop coming up, if they stick to the we're gonna actually fight each other, that's a fucking good set of fighters coming up, man, and stuff like that's a really good upcoming class that's really on point. Like to replace the Porters, the Thurmans, the Garcias, because the only ones we have left from this class right now is Crawford, Spence, and Thurman. That's really it. After they go, this class is over with.
And I gave up on Tank, man. Like Tank.
Oh, he's not even part. He's part of the YouTube crowd to me.
Tank gonna do what Tank's gonna do, man. Like whatever he does, he does. I'm not gonna complain about Tank no more. I'm not gonna complain about what they're doing over in PBC. I'm just gonna be looking at guys like Boots Ennis. I'm gonna look at the guys like Virgil Ortiz. I'm gonna look at Big Baby Anderson. I'm just gonna be looking at the positive things. I'm not gonna be that guy that's complaining all the time like I did this year. Like I didn't complain a lot this year, but I was a little disappointed in some things this year. But there were some good things too. I think all in all, this was a pretty solid year. To be honest with you, I didn't think it was a horrible year, but we all talked about pay-per-views. None of us are happy with this pay-per-view thing, and a lot of these pay-per-views they just didn't do good numbers. They just didn't pull in those numbers like we used to see back in the day. The De La Hoyas, obviously the Floyd Mayweathers, the Mike Tysons, the Van Holyfields, even guys like Chavez Jr. when he fought Canelo, they did 1 million pay-per-view buys, but the pay-per-view market has really started to plummet a little bit, in my opinion. I think, what was the biggest fight this year, pay-per-view wise? What was it like? Canelo's, right? It was like
Wilder.
I think Canelo's. Canelo's was like 800,000.
Oh, you're
You know,
talking
that
about
was-
in terms of buys, yeah.
Yeah. So that was like the we used to have like million pay-per-view buys, 1.5 million. The
Yeah.
UFC is starting to pull in some pretty decent pay-per-view numbers, but boxing is not. But they're talking about putting out more pay-per-views next year. Do you think they are going to go through with these pay-per-views next year? Do you think they'll continue to go on with having so many pay-per-views next year, even though last year that they didn't do well. They just weren't successful. All in all, they did poor, the pay-per-views. So do you think boxing, particularly PBC, will continue with this model, or do you think they'll change things up? Let's start with you, Mario. How do you think it's going to go? First, let me get to the super chat real quick. El Padrino 69 with another $2 super chat says Thurman and Barrios is pay-per-view too. Yes, it is.
Exactly. Great point. And that adds to my point. Unfortunately, yes, this trend will continue. I have 100% am sure of it. And this isn't me trying to validate it or provide reasoning, because it is a truly mad concept. But the nature of this business is clear. Okay, listen, guys, from October, we have had 6 pay-per-views. Okay. Now, Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley, it was Showtime, but I don't count that as boxing. At the end of the day, if you paid for it, that's your problem. You knew what you were buying, and so you have no right to complain about that. But for the other ones, you had Tyson Fury Wilder 3 on PBC Fox, right? $79.99. Canelo Plant PBC Showtime pay-per-view, $79.99. Crawford Porter Top Rank ESPN Plus, $69.99. Davis Cruz PBC Showtime, $74.99. And then, like I said, Jake Paul, I don't really count that. Luis Ortiz and Charles Martin are going to begin the year with a pay-per-view of $39.99. At the end of the day, they know these pay-per-views aren't going to do well. They're trying to set a standard, I think, and make up with what the business ended up being with COVID. I really think that for a lot of these guys, they're trying to play catch up. And, some of these guys have too big of stables to really get everybody fights and focus on, the promotional needs of these guys individually. And to put these guys on pay-per-view, all it's trying to do is put a Band-Aid on a much bigger problem. And unfortunately, I think that boxing is not a sport that learns from its mistakes very easy.
What do you think, Sutter? You think this is going to continue on? It seems like it's only one entity doing it, but Showtime, is doing it as well too with these Jake Paul fights as well. Do you think they're going to continue to do this? Because we already saw what Mielnicki did on Christmas night. Man, they did almost 3 million views. So boxing will be viewed if it's on regular television. There's proof of that.
I think it's going to go on for a little bit longer, and then it's going to stop because nobody's buying all this shit, bro. It's a lot. Like when you told me you spent 700, that's a lot, bro. For pay-per-views in a year, I think it's going to be pretty much done with. But yo, totally left field. And I'm going to stick to this one right here. Did anybody see Chavez Jr. with the cocaine in the corner? Yo,
No.
That shit was funny. Did you see that?
No.
Oh,
Is that the beginning of a
man.
rap song?
No, bro. I got to send it to you. This shit is hilarious. The dude was in the corner. Somebody slipped him some coke. That shit was funny.
Please
Was
do
it-
share.
You saw it?
Nah.
was
Please
in
share.
the
If I came
corner
up
with-
with the white or something. No.
Yeah.
Like that video of Ricky Hatton. Remember that video of Ricky Hatton where they're just doing, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
But no.
smeared it all over the table.
But no, I
Look
think
like a
pay-per-views. I
Scorsese
think this is the
movie.
last year, bro. I don't think they got a budget. That's the whole point. They're trying to make some
Yeah.
money. I don't think they got a budget.
At some point, the networks are going to kind of step in and say, "Hey, man, we're not on board with this." Kenny, how do you think this is going to play out for 2022? First, let me get to this G Funky super chat. Thank you so much, G Funky. He says Thurman versus Barrios, 2 guys coming off losses, headlining a pay-per-view. Have we seen this before? Thank you, PBC, for the losers pay-per-view. Sorry, Kenny, go ahead, brother.
I'm gonna have to agree with both Mario and Sutter Kane. In the sense that I definitely think they're going to continue going hard this year with pay-per-views. ESPN just got into the mix with the pay-per-views too, along with Showtime and PBC, Fox. Triller was trying to get in the pay-per-view game. I think that they're going to keep it going for a while. I think they're going to go, not for a while, at least for this year, they're going to try to go really hard at it. It's in a way, I do think it is like a statement type of thing, but more so to level these fighters out, because there's a lot of fighters that believe they deserve a lot more money than they than they actually bring in. And also even some of the top guys, it's like, all right, let's humble you guys down a little bit. Let's do some pay-per-view so you guys see who's really paying for your fights and who's really supporting you. And once you see that the money you claim to be, the money you claim to bring in is not what you're actually bringing in. You don't actually have the viewership that you think you have. And I think they're going to try to use that as a way to pay boxers less. MMA definitely won with pay-per-views this year, but MMA does something different that boxing does not do. They have most of their fights available to watch on regular TV.
Yep.
Most of them. The only thing you see on pay-per-view for MMA is their championship fights or their big show type of fights, that they're big promotional fights. So I definitely think with boxing, they're gonna 100% push this pay-per-view thing. PBC is gonna go hard at it. ESPN's gonna go hard at it. Bob Arum was saying, "Oh yeah, we have the rubric. Don't you see how well we did on ESPN Plus with our pay-per-view?" I don't really see that being the case. They're gonna mess everybody over, but I think they're gonna start adjusting the prices to these pay-per-views. I don't think they're only gonna give us like $75, $80 or whatever pay-per-views. I think that we are going to start seeing a lot more like this Charles Martin one, and even lower prices. Like, who's going to pay to see Charles Martin? You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is. They're going to use this, see how much money they bring in altogether from people purchasing these pay-per-views and what viewership these people actually get. And they're also going to try to cash in as much money as they can, because these guys that are behind boxing, the investors, the promotional companies, the only thing that they care about is money. They don't care anything about the fighters. They don't care anything about the fans. All they care about is their pockets and money. If you always see what Bob Arum says, well, I'm going to go broke promoting these guys. I'm going to go broke paying. Terrence Crawford, that's a terrible fight. I'm going to lose money paying, when they talk about fights, they never talk about the actual fight and how great the fight can be. The only thing they always talk about is the finances behind the fight. If the finances aren't great, then it's a terrible fight for them. It's that way with Mayweather Promotions, PBC, Bob Arum, and all these guys, and I think it's going to continue being that way up until we as fans do something. The younger crowd, they're all over MMA. They're not going to come over to boxing unless they get something free to watch. And you know what? When the big fights are playing, the younger crowd, they're streaming it. They're not buying it. They're streaming. They don't care about the pop-ups. They don't care about the graininess. They don't care about any of that. They're streaming it. So it's not like they're not watching. They're just not paying for it. So, boxing promoters, they got to make a decision. And the decision that they're making for this coming year is to stick by these pay-per-views. I think after this coming year, it's going to go terrible. And hopefully, like Sutter Kane said, hopefully they adjust, because, bro,
yeah, the budget, man.
So are all of you guys.
They don't have a budget, bro. I don't think these networks are giving them a budget. So they're just trying to milk it for what it's worth, but nobody's buying this shit. Like, nobody for real. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, nobody's really buying it. Like, they got a pay-per-view on Saturday, bro. I couldn't believe that shit. They got Charles Martin. That's like super free TV.
It's crazy. It's crazy because this never was like this before back in the day. But G, what do you think, man? Do you think that this is going to continue on, or you think they're going to have to make some adjustments for 2022? You're on mute, bro.
We can't hear you, bro.
So pay-per-view, whether we like it or not, in some form, shape, or fashion, it's going to be pay, as in we take money out of our pocket to view boxing. It may not be pay-per-view like a one-night event, but I always say, look, the zone is pay-per-view. You got to pay for it to watch it, okay? But they try to bundle it a little bit, like where they try to lock you in for a whole year and pay a certain amount every month. That's their ultimate goal, right? But pay-per-view as we know it, like what we know as pay-per-view, like when you buy that one event for that one night, you get a crappy undercard with cab drivers against dudes off the crowd, right? The cab drivers and dudes off the crowd knock each other out or have crappy fights. And then you get the main event, right? Or they get a prospect to knock out like me and shit. Like, oh, put these down in the ring with them. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, who are these guys? You know what I mean? So that type of pay-per-view is not going to go anywhere like anytime soon because of the boxing culture. Listen to how these fighters talk. These fighters aren't on, like, I remember one time I saw Devin Haney and Tank go back and forth, and Teofimo, by the way. They went back and forth on not about how I'm gonna knock your ass out, or you're not gonna get in the ring with me. I'll beat the fuck out of you, or you don't have the balls to fight me. No, it was I made more money than you at the age of 21. I'm more flashy than you. I have more cars than you. I own a home faster than you. You still live with your parents. I'm my own boss. You're not. You have a boss. Your boss is Bob Barum. I'm my own boss, and I make more money than you, and I got more jewelry than you, and it just the shit's crazy. This is what they're arguing about. Like Tank and Haney were talking about a girl over then like, oh, well, I'm gonna tell old girl about the time she was with me, or like, you want me to tell everybody, and I made more money than you at the age of 21. At the age of 21, you were still fighting for 6 figures. I'm already making 7 figures. This is what they're talking about.
Yeah. We're in a new generation, man.
Hold on, brother. We already have guys that, that's all they talk about. Like, we already, the Lopez's were saying, oh, we're never going to fight ever on regular TV, ever. We're pay-per-view from here on out. You know why? Because pay-per-view is perceived as, when you're pay-per-view, you're the top level. You're like, there's a status that goes with it. No different than when you go buy clothes at the store and shit, right? I mean, like the Gap sells the jeans for more than Walmart does, but the same fucking jeans, okay? But it's that status that comes with it. It's the logo on the shirt. That's what it is.
Great point.
It's the maker that sells it. When you're on pay-per-view, that's all we hear. I was in the Boxing Voice a couple months ago, and this is telling me, no, he's got to be on pay-per-view. If you're a star, you got to be pay-per-view, right? And I don't know why we came up with this rule. Like, and it is boxing's fault. And it is something that we have kind of done to a certain degree. And we have to find a way to undo it. So to answer your question, now pay-per-view isn't going anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere because fighters want that status. Like, if you just fight on pay-per-view, you get to say, I'm a pay-per-view star, right? Even if you don't sell shit, even if you just sell 100,000, right? You could sell 200,000 and people will argue to the moon that you're a pay-per-view star, right? But go ahead, Sutter King.
No, I was agreeing with you. I was saying we're in a new generation now to where the boxing is more about your Instagram status and social media status and actual fights. I was agreeing and everything, yo. But yeah, man, I think pay-per-view, like I said, man, I think this is going to fall off, man. I think it's going to fall off pretty soon, man, because they ain't making that much money like that. You feel what I'm saying?
Well,
unless Conor Benn goes on pay-per-view. Well, he's on his own, but
One more thing.
Go ahead.
Because I remember, speaking of the boxing, well, shout out to Ness, by the way. Haven't seen him around, but shout out to him. I hope everything's all right, by the way. But shout out to Doomy doing his thing. But I want to say this. So I remember, like, when Ness came up, like, with like statistics that surround pay-per-view, right? Because I remember he called me, like, he goes like this: D-Style, you know a lot about boxing. When have you seen a guy go 3-0? And never go back to regular TV. All 3-0 on pay-per-view. Like, and I was like, wait, what? Like, what? That's like a record? Like, yeah, Errol Spence is the only guy. Like, and I'm like, what does that matter? What? I know Mario knows exactly what I'm talking about. Okay?
I'm sure.
Yeah, I remember that argument.
I'm sure Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson won 3 pay-per-view fights in a row. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have done.
No. But he broke it down. He said that I said Floyd, right? He said no. Floyd went on pay-per-view. Then he went on regular TV, so he doesn't count. Like, he fucked up the record by going back on regular HBO.
But when Tyson came back from prison,
went on Fox.
He fought on pay-per-view. He fought Peter McNeely on pay-per-view.
But then he went back on Fox, right? Didn't he?
Yeah, he went on regular TV for a second. No, he did. He went on regular daytime TV.
Not after he fought Peter McNeely.
He fucked up the record. It's Errol Spence's record. I'm saying.
Yeah, no. And real quick, I'm just going to add to D-Style's point. You're absolutely 100% correct. For Ness and other guys in the media that talk about these things that are definite. right? But that's the whole point of this, to change the culture and the notion of what it means to be a star, right? And doing air quotes for people that are hearing me on podcasts. And so, this idea that, oh, I'm pay-per-view, so that makes me this or that makes me that, the same way that you would use like a car, like I drive a Lamborghini, that makes me this, that makes me that, whatever. Ultimately, we have to change the notion of what it means. Canelo's doing it. A lot of these guys are doing it, and we just have to find this way to equate eyeballs with potential, because that's what it boils down to. When you have the most amount of eyeballs on you, then that's when people who sell shit, Gatorade, Bud Light, all the sponsors get involved. That's what it should come down to at the end of the day. And that means, fighting on free TV every once in a while. And by the way, giving back to your fans, that's a thing too. That happens every once in a while.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, I think pay-per-view definitely is not going away, but I think, as the year goes on next year, I think they'll start to taper off, and I think the prices will go down a little bit. I think this year what happened was Fox and Showtime did not have a lot of money left, or did not want to give any more money towards boxing. They limited the amount of money they wanted to give towards boxing. I know Showtime was kind of running low. So when you put fights on pay-per-view, the network has to put up less money for a guarantee. So the guarantees are lower, and then the pay-per-view buys are supposed to supplement the fighters' purses and the promoters, what the promoter's going to get as well, right? So that's a way they could supplement the guarantee a little bit. They don't have to put up as much money. And like I said, I think the budget was kind of wearing thin, particularly with Showtime, and Fox was getting sick of, Fox didn't even want to put on like these pay-per-view fights. That's why a lot of these fights were on Showtime and they weren't on Fox, right? So I think that they will make an adjustment, but here's the thing. It's about what's healthy and the longevity of the sport. That's the way I'm looking at it. And you're not going to grow new fans if you're putting a pay-per-view on and only 100,000, 65,000 people are seeing these fighters fight. I'd rather, go the Victor Milnecki route and look what this fight did on Christmas, Mario, you mentioned. Almost 3 million views. So people will watch boxing on regular TV. I don't know why they went away with that or went away from that. I just don't know why they did that. I'm not saying pay-per-view has to go away completely, but what's happening right now, for whatever reason, like I said, the budgets have gone down and they don't have the money in the budget to put the fights on, regular TV or whatever, and give these guys the money that they're going to require. But again, people just aren't going to be seeing, these fighters like Tank Davis. Okay, he sells out the live gate, but again, he's not gaining any new fans. He's just maintaining the fan base he has right now. He's not crossing over to other sports fans, like people who watch football and basketball. Now, people who watch football and basketball, I'm sure those fans crossed over and saw Milnecki fight on Christmas night.
Great point.
But they're not going to cross over if you don't give them the opportunity, right? They're not going to go out of their way to find you. You got to shove these guys in their face. That's how you grow the sport. That's just my opinion.
Excellent point. Very, and by the way, that is a tried and true method that network TV has been using for years. When they have new talk show hosts for late night shows or whatever, they'll put them on after the Super Bowl to get those residual viewers. That's a tried and true method. Absolutely, great point.
You know what I want to see? I want to see fight cards on free TV. That's going to make all the snot-nosed, arrogant, goody two-shoe boxing fan that knows all about the business, like it's going to make them be like, why would they put that on free TV? That should have been on pay-per-view. Like, let them cry about it, let them bitch about it, and let the rest of the world enjoy a nice free fight. You know what I mean? Like, put Benavidez versus Plant on Fox, Al Heyman. Like don't put Plant against fucking like some nobody, like it's time for boxing to start giving. Like boxing has a lot of interest to pay back to people that giving up on it. Okay. And to do that, you're going to have to give some good shit that I know you wish you could put on pay-per-view, but it's not going to sell like that on pay-per-view. But if it's on free TV, yes, you're going to have a lot of the Leonard Allerbys say, oh, that's stupid. Why would you give that away for free? And all that. Maybe that's what boxing should be doing, okay? Because the current format is not growing the popularity of the sport.
No.
Like, it just isn't, right? And by the way, the rumors of the most recent, Jake Paul pay-per-views also showed us that maybe there is an oversaturation and there is a such thing as overdoing it. And I think Jake Paul's slowly,
the gimmick is wearing out now.
Yeah, it's getting worn out at this point. Like, people can only feel stupid for a while. You know what I mean? Like if the rumors are true, even if you double the numbers of what the rumors are, the numbers were not that good. And he's already making excuses. He's already blaming Fury's brother for the pay-per-view not doing well, saying, "Oh, well, we were telling people we're going to fight Fury, and we have to change that." That's not a good sign.
Yeah,
I want to see him and Chavez Jr. next. That's what I want to see next.
I want to see him versus the Island Boys.
I want to see
not one of them.
I don't even know who the hell Island Boys are. Who are?
I want to see both Island Boys fight Jake Paul like at the same time. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's what I would pay for. I would pay for that.
That's them. I've never even heard these dudes before.
Island Boy. No, is that you ain't never heard that?
I never heard that shit, bro.
Oh, shit, I better not sing that.
No, I never heard that shit. Yo. I just want to see Chavez Jr. and Jake Paul. That's a good ass fight. That's gonna be funny as hell and stuff, yo. And no drug testing. Let him do as much cocaine as he wants.
I can't do it for the culture because I don't trust Chavez. If he lose that fight, bro, like, nah.
Dude, he's gonna lose the fight. That's the whole point. But it's a funny ass fight. It's a funny ass fight.
I actually don't think Jake Paul is ready for Chavez Jr.
Nah,
you're crazy. He'll knock Jake Paul knock fucking Chavez out.
Chavez
that
Jr.
should be funny as hell.
Chavez Jr. may suck to another boxer, but Chavez Jr. is a legitimate
but Ennis and Silva.
But Anderson Silva beat the shit out of him.
But Anderson Silva didn't knock him out, though.
But
and Chavez Jr. would have to take it seriously, though. That's what we have to see. He would have to take it
serious. He wins. There's no doubt.
That's the best way to say it.
When has Chavez Jr. taken anything in life seriously besides cocaine?
When he beat Andy Lee.
You took it out of my mouth. I was gonna say cocaine. You took that.
Besides
he was probably roided up his shit for that fight, but that's how he's gonna show that.
You know what's so funny, man? If you tell people nowadays, like, say if somebody's new to boxing and they see Chavez Jr. now, and you say, "Hey, yo, at one time this dude was one of the most feared fighters for like a good 2 or 3 years."
I don't know about that. You know what I mean?
Bro, when he beat Andy Lee, he was pretty beastly, bro. I ain't gonna front.
He was a feared guy. You know, like, Sergio really was begging to get in the ring with him. I'm just saying.
No, I do. Come on, I'm a Sergio fan, of course, bro. But I'm talking about everybody else was like, hell no. Remember, people thought that Chava was gonna beat the shit out of Sergio. A lot of people thought that. I'm a Sergio fan. A lot of people thought that. And I was a little matter of fact, that's how I discovered you. I discovered you and Beeb off of that fight. That's how I discovered y'all.
I don't know that many people
I've been here. I
thought Beeb was with TBV at
that was one of my easiest predictions of all time.
I discovered Beeb on the Boxing Voice, and I discovered D Styles for that particular fight. I remember that because D Styles, didn't you used to like referee little fights here and there or something like that? You had mentioned like years ago.
Midget wrestling, that's what it was.
It was midget wrestling.
No,
that's exactly what it was. No, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he sure did.
You
remember them? No?
Huh?
All right, that's all right.
But no, I definitely discovered D Styles 100% on the Chavez one. That 100%, and I discovered Beeb on Boxing Voice around the same exact time, and stuff that I do remember.
All right, shout out to Jamie Nieto. He says the boxing fans are starting to push back and refuse to pay for garbage fights. Tank's last pay-per-view and Jake Paul's pay-per-view numbers flopping. Prove it. Yeah, that's true. And you know what?
Time is a real champ.
One last point too, because I remember, because I'm an old dude, man, 52. And I remember, seeing fighters on like Johnny Carson and David Letterman and all, like Arsenio Hall. And I remember fighters used to make commercials. You used to just see fighters out there. Like, everybody knew who Sugar Ray Leonard was. Everyone knew who Marvin Hagler was. Everyone knew who Larry Holmes was, Muhammad Ali. Everybody knew these guys, Roberto Duran. Everybody knew these fighters. Mike Tyson, Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, even Felix Trinidad. Like people knew these guys, right? Chavez, everyone knew these guys. But like if you walk down the street or you go to work and you ask someone who's Tank Davis, they're not going to know who he is. So that's just the thing, and I think the way to remedy that is by, putting him on regular television. Man.
Maybe in Atlanta, that's it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I got a remedy for that.
What's up, Kenny?
Promoters actually promoted,
Yeah,
that would actually solve the problem.
Yeah.
I live in
Yep.
New York. I walk around here. The Loma fight versus Comey happened at Madison Square Garden not so long ago. I didn't see anything in the streets. I didn't see nothing in the subway stations.
Yeah, they're getting lazy.
I heard that from a lot of New York guys that I know. I heard that.
You know what?
Yep.
You know what it is? Social media has made people lazy because they expect these fighters to promote. I mean, obviously, a fighter does have to promote himself to some degree, but because social media and YouTube, I think promoters are getting lazy now. They're figuring that they don't have to do the work that they used to have to do.
Let me correct that. I don't think it's lazy. I think they're getting cheaper and cheaper. They don't want to pay for the promotions. It costs money, but guess what? It brings in more money. I don't think it's laziness.
Could be that too, Kenny.
If it didn't cost money, they would be out there doing it. They rather depend on YouTubers doing what for them is free work, because they do get a lot of promotion from boxing YouTube channels.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. Yeah. Rest in peace to Tex Rickard. Shout out to Don King. He's still around, but we don't got promoters no more, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I mean, Tex Rickard built a stadium, okay, to promote a damn fight. All right. Now these guys don't even have to do that nowadays. They just don't. Right. I mean, Don King had to promote before the internet blew up, before social media. You had to promote. These guys got social media to the disposal. They got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They got all this, and they do some of it. Don't get me wrong, but they do a pretty crappy job, in my opinion. And Bob Arum doesn't do nearly enough media work or even DeBuff, his son-in-law. They just don't do enough to get the fighters out there. Like, why do you talk shit about your fighter and tell the world he can't sell worth of shit while you're selling a pay-per-view of his? That doesn't make any sense, okay? Like who tries to upsell someone something, right? But at the same time tell them like that product sucks. Like you know what I mean? Like, no, nobody really buys this product. It really isn't shit. But you want to buy it though? Like, no, nobody does that. Okay,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Like you want to buy this car? I mean, let me tell you something. Nobody's buying this car. I just can tell you right now. But it's a good car though. You want to buy it? Like that's not what you do, right? Go promote, go on Sports Center, go, you know what I mean? Go, do the rounds. And now, in fairness, Arum does do interviews and stuff like that. But I mean, like all across the board, man, the one guy that is doing this shit, and I got to give him credit, is Eddie Hearn. When he's first started in America, he looked like a fish out of water, but he's actually slowly becoming a better promoter in the U.S. than the promoters in the U.S. right now. And he's only getting better. And he's young.
So one bright spot of 2021 is we had 3 undisputed fights, right? We had Josh Taylor versus Jose Ramirez. We had Brian Castano versus Jermell Charlo. And obviously we had Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant. So will 2022 continue on with these undisputed fights? And if so, which divisions do you guys think could potentially have undisputed champions in 2022? We'll start with you, Kenny.
Thank you. Definitely, I definitely think that boxing will continue with these unification fights, with undisputed fights. I do not see why not continue. The younger fighters are starting to see that is the route to go. They're trying to more please the fans. It seems more so than instead of protecting the O. It seems like that Mayweather promotion type of mentality is staying with PBC and Mayweather Promotions, and I feel like all the other up and coming fighters under Top Rank in the Zone are definitely going to be more looking to get these undisputed fights. Divisions, I got 4 divisions that I think are going to have undisputed champions this coming year. I definitely see the super welterweight, which was one that you mentioned, fight that happened earlier this year with Jermell Charlo and Brian Castano. That's going to happen again in the coming year. It's impossible for that to be a draw again. I definitely have a person who I think is going to win, but we won't talk about that now unless you guys do want to hear that. I'll continue going down these divisions. I don't want to open up a can of worms and tear us apart away from this conversation. Second, I have lightweight. Let me just scroll down. I have this open. At lightweight, I do think we are going to have a unification. George Kambosos has 3 of the belts. Devin Haney has the last belt. I do see that fight happening. If that fight does not happen, it would be foolish in my head. The thought of Kambosos not fighting Haney first. I hear he's thinking about potentially fighting Lomachenko first. Bro, go be undisputed, and then worry about Loma. But yes, 135. 135 pounds. I think we're gonna have an undisputed fighter in that weight class. Then I have super bantamweight. That is 122 pounds. I do think we're gonna have an undisputed champion at 122 pounds. There's 2 fighters, 2 belts each. That fight has to be made in the coming year, and I don't see why that fight would not be made in the coming year. Both these fighters are daring, and there was a unification fight with 2 other fighters in that same division earlier this year. I don't see why it would not happen. It's in my head. It cannot not happen. And then the last division that I think we're gonna have a undisputed champion is going to be bantamweight. That's a division where we have Inoue, Casimiro, Donaire as the champions, and I do not see why we don't have an undisputed champion in the coming year with Inoue. He says he wants to fight Casimiro next, and I'd have zero doubt that the fight with Nonito Donaire will happen again, since the first time was so great, and he has a belt now. It doesn't make sense not to fight him again. So those are the 4 weight classes, which I do think we're going to have undisputed champions at. It wouldn't make sense for them not to chase the undisputed title, being that they're so close to it and it's within reach. For other divisions like 147, I don't ever see it happening. It was one of my wishes for the Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, but I just don't see it happening. But I'm gonna wish on it regardless. They're shooting star anyway, or whatever it's called. Throw a coin in the well, whatever the sayings are. I'll do it all just to try to get that fight, but I don't see it happening. Those are the 4 weight classes that I see having an undisputed champion in the coming year for sure.
Okay.
It's impossible for it not to happen.
What divisions you think could potentially have undisputed fights next year?
I do believe that there's a possibility there, but I don't want to be that guy. You know, I don't want to be the dude that, especially this time of year, that's going to tell everybody that wasn't Santa that left you that gift under the Christmas tree. You know what I mean? It wasn't. You know what I mean? If there was noise on your roof, that was not Santa. Go to get your roof checked. You know what I mean? Like, that's some other shit going. I don't know. COVID's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? And boxing's not going to change. And I've followed boxing long enough to know that it has a pattern, right? Every time boxing has something good going on, it finds a way to fuck it up. So, yes, it gives a lot of great, undisputed fights and this. And then the only one I could see is Castano against Jermell Charlo. But that's because that's a rematch. That you know what I mean? So like that was from a draw from this year. So we're like lucky to have it if it happens. But that's it. I don't think we're gonna get undisputed at heavyweight. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that guy, but we're not gonna get it at heavyweight. We're not gonna get in the lower weight classes either. The sanctioning bodies do not want undisputed. They don't. All right? Like they want to have different champions and collect different sanctioning fees. That's what they want. Like that's why they like. It's almost like their existence is the antithesis of undisputed by definition, right? Why do you think they would work together, right, to have an undisputed champion in every weight class? Like it's just not going to happen. So I'm going to be that dude. I'm going to be that dude that's going to say, I hope I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong. I know people are booing me in the crowd. Okay,
You Debbie downed me.
I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't think we're gonna get another outside of that 140, 154 matchup. We're not gonna get any other undisputed. And I also think the bouts are gonna spread out at 140. Josh Taylor's probably gonna move up like Dragon Ball. You know what I mean? It's gonna like poof, go all over the place. And Cepeda's gonna have a belt. Teofimo's gonna move up and have a belt, and Haney's gonna move up and get a belt there too. And before you know it, we're gonna have champions everywhere. The undisputed champions don't last. Canelo's championships, they're already going to have an interim WBC champion soon. Like, if he doesn't go back to 168, those belts are going to get spread. I'm just saying, like, we had a little good thing going on, and you would think, oh, keep it going, boxing, yes. No, that's not how it works. Boxing does the opposite. You know, like how can I fuck this whole thing up? You know what I mean? You know what we're going to have? We're going to have more belts. We're going to have more champions per weight class, and we're going to have less undisputed champions at the end of 2022. That's what I think. If boxing follows that same model, just saying.
Mario, do you have any optimism coming off of that?
Yeah, in fact, I went ahead and because obviously we do prep, right? And I broke it down real quick just for everybody. Okay, so we're gonna start the year off with undisputed at super middleweight with Canelo, undisputed at welterweight in the women's division with Jessica McCaskill, undisputed with junior welterweight Josh Taylor, and undisputed in the women's lightweight division with Katie Taylor. Now Clarissa Shields lost the WBO, so that doesn't really count. But we have possibilities with 2 fights or less for undisputed at heavyweight, junior middleweight, obviously Charlo Castano, that will happen. And we also have it at lightweight, welterweight, bantamweight, junior featherweight, and junior bantamweight. Now, I'm not saying these are the divisions. What I'm saying is that all these divisions can undispute with 2 fights or less. Okay, all these are 3-ways for the most part. For the most part, there are some like Strada, Chocolatito are fighting. But here's the problem, right? I'm going to knock them basically all out and tell you the only one I think actually happens. Estrada, Chocolatito, unfortunately, Ioka, Japanese, and they've gotten restrictions, so I don't think that happens. Inoue, Casimiro, Donaire, I think Inoue would beat them all. And I think he could beat them all next year. The thing is, will he be able to fight? That's going to be the big question. Is he going to be able to travel? I don't think so. And then Crawford, Spencer, Ugas. I don't even want to get into that. Everybody knows why Crawford, Spencer, Ugas is not going to unify in that division. So we're left with essentially Kambosos, Haney at lightweight and Fulton, Akhmadiliev, right? These are the 2, in my opinion, that have the best chance. Okay. For Fulton, he's already shown that he will fight. He wants this fight. And for those that, DAZN, I think they want this fight for Akhmadiliev. This is his chance to really get over on the American audience. And for Stephen Fulton, this is his chance to, I thought it was a close fight. A lot of people say that he lost and he felt a certain way. He's given interviews about how, he kind of questioned it first and then went back and saw it. But for him, he's a fighting type of champion. You can see that in him. And, Akhmadiliev, this is what he lived for. This is what his dream has been from the moment he started boxing. So that's, I think, does happen. Kambosos, Haney as well. I think it happens. I think we see this fight get made for all the fights that aren't happening, and won't happen in 2022, like Ryan Garcia, Tank, add Lomachenko, Teofimo rematch to that equation, Devin, Teo, like all the fights that won't happen, I think Kambosos, Haney does.
Yeah.
Hey, Beeb, you forgot to mention one undisputed fight, though.
What's that?
Oscar Rivas. He's the undisputed Bridgerweight champion of the world. Undisputed.
In the one belt era.
That's right.
Fair enough. Sutter, do you think we're going to get a lot of undisputed fights next year?
Well, you got Kambosos and Haney, which I'm looking forward to. Hopefully that goes down. Definitely. That's the closest. That and then the Charlo one is that. Those are the 2 real close, like one fight away type things. Everything else, I mean, it's up in the air, bro. I mean, we've been boxing fans for like a long time, and it's just like, I don't know, man. Who the fuck knows? I just want to see good fights. That's all I want to see is some goddamn good fights. We could barely get good fights, let alone undisputed. So If I can see Kambosos and Haney, I'm high-fiving. If I can see, you know what I'm saying, some more stuff. But the one I'm really looking forward to is Kambosos and Haney. That's a really good one. You feel what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's how I'm looking at it. But I just want to see good fights.
I honestly think Kambosos and Haney has a high probability of happening next year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a close one. Like Kambosos' back is against the wall, man. If he chooses someone else, man, it's gonna look kind of bad.
Well, if he fights Lomachenko instead, I think Lomachenko.
Oh gosh,
I think Lomachenko would beat him, and I think Haney Lomachenko would definitely happen.
So wild. I don't think Lomachenko could beat him, but I just don't want to see that fight right now. I want to go to Undisputed, and then we can go to that fight.
You don't think Lomachenko could beat Kambosos?
Nah, I don't think so. Man.
I think Kambosos
is on a roll.
You think so? Yeah, I disagree.
I think he's on a roll, man.
With all due respect to Kambosos, I think Haney beats him, and I think Lomachenko beats him.
I think Haney beats him, but I don't think Lomachenko can beat him.
Yeah,
I don't think so, man. I think it's a really good fight.
Why does the roll only matter against for like you said? Why he's on a roll? That's why he would beat him. But why would Haney beat him if he's on a roll?
Haney got a longer reach, is better. And bro, come on, man. You know what? You worry about Canelo and Beterbiev, and you stay out of this one. We're talking about this right now. You worry about that.
I've never got.
Look at the fist. Look at it. Look at him.
Let me tell you this right now. Let me tell you this right now. No, look at me. Look at.
As soon as you mention this, like, yo, man, he gets all serious.
Hold on. Check this out, okay? I've never gotten a Lomachenko fight wrong, brother, ever. Okay.
Who's you against Lomachenko?
No, hold on. I've been here and I got the receipts, brother. Not like a lot of other people. I've never gotten a fight of his wrong. Okay?
Even when he's picked against him and for him.
I picked against him and for him. I called the Salido loss. I called this last loss. I said he would beat Gary Russell. I'm telling you, he would beat Kambosos. Like that's I'm just telling you that right now. And I got the track record for that. So I don't need to hear no stick to Canelo and Beterbiev.
Well, bro, I'm telling you, you stick to Canelo and Beterbiev. I'm gonna go with this one right here. You feel what I'm saying? And stuff. I'm telling you right now, Kambosos fucks up Lomachenko. How you like that one?
I don't even think it's close. Yeah, I'll be honest with you.
He might win like a decision, but fuck him up. Come on, stop. You know what?
It's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a good fight. I just want to see the fight. I just want to see the fight.
If anything, I think Kambosos has a better chance against Devin Haney, and I think that's a winnable fight for Kambosos. But I don't think the Lomachenko is winnable. The Lomachenko fight, I don't think that's winnable for Kambosos.
It's a tough style matchup for him.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see, bro. That's exactly what I want to see. God damn.
But the thing about Kambosos,
I made him cry. My bad, brother. It's just boxing talk.
The good thing about Kambosos.
Oh, this guy, man.
The good thing about Kambosos is
what happened over here?
Yeah, the good thing about Kambosos is we know he'll fight. We know he'll fight Lomachenko. We know he'll fight Haney.
Take it easy on Sutter. He started crying, babe. Like,
bro.
We'll be all right.
All I want to do is see the fights. That's all I want to do is see the fights.
So I think Akhmadiev would fight him, and Fulton will probably get it on. I think that's a very makeable fight. I'm pretty, and plus the lower weight divisions. They need to unify, or they need to become undisputed, because that's how they make money. You know, that the more belts they have, the more money they make. They have a harder time making money without the belt, so they can make more money being undisputed. So I think that fight at 118 has a very high probability of happening. I think either I think Haney would probably at some point at lightweight fight Kambosos, or if Lomachenko beats Kambosos, I think Lomachenko would fight Haney. I don't think they have any problems, those three getting it on that triangle, having a series of fights if they have to have a series of fights. And I think ultimately we'll get undisputed at lightweight. And believe it or not, if Fury decides to vacate that title, then I heard that Dillian Whyte would be elevated to the full champion, and he'd have to fight, and he'd have to fight Deontay Wilder, right? But
are you serious?
That's what I heard.
Wow,
I heard the same thing.
I thought you were trolling.
No.
I heard the same thing.
Whoa, was I asleep?
I heard the same thing.
So, if Fury doesn't want to fight Dillian Whyte, and Dillian Whyte gets elevated to the full champion, and say Deontay Wilder doesn't want to come out of retirement and fight Dillian Whyte, then that opens the door for Dillian Whyte to fight the winner of Usyk versus Joshua. And I think that's a very makeable fight. So I think we could get an undisputed at heavyweight this year, with or without Fury. I really believe that, So I think heavyweight, definitely. I think 122. We have a shot at that happening at 122, right? And I also think that maybe. Well, definitely we'll have the Castano, the Charlo fight was going to happen too. So I think we can still have a good amount of undisputed fights this year, man. We may have more undisputed fights this year than we had last year. And
Castano beats Charlo too.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think I would lean towards him. But yeah, I think
Castano.
I think definitely there's a lot of potential. I think there's a lot of potential next year to have a lot of have a good amount of undisputed fights. I think we're going to have more undisputed fights next year than we had this year.
Wow.
I believe so. I think we're going to have at least 4 undisputed fights this year.
Well, we had 3 last year, right?
Yeah.
It was
I think
Taylor,
we're going to have at least
Canelo, and Clarissa.
Yeah. I think we're going to have,
but do we count the chicks? Like, man, I don't know. But I thought we was talking about the man fights, right?
I watched.
Yeah. No. Look, let me say this, right? People are going to be like, oh, D-Style, you're such a sexist. Look, Clarissa Shields is fighting divisions with like 10 women in it, okay? Like really? Like she unified a division. Did you not see that the girl she just beat for Undisputed fight on the undercard of the Beterbiev fight? Did anybody watch that crap?
Dude, that shit was terrible.
That's who she beat for Undisputed. So spare me, okay? So like, now the lower weight classes with the women is opposite. Like they got a lot of women there, right? At least not a lot compared to the man. It's only like 100 per division, but it's still.
Let me read this statistic to you to D-Style's point. Do you know how many registered female boxers there are at middleweight? Take a guess.
20.
28.
I was gonna say 25.
There's 28 boxers,
and they're not all good. Like number 28 probably has a record of like 4-30 or some shit, right?
But don't forget though, Clarissa did unify junior middleweight and middleweight, didn't she?
Yes.
No,
right?
It's there. I just think it's like a different sport. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like it's just
No, I mean the rounds, they fight 2-minute round. Yeah, it's different. 100%. You're absolutely right.
Now there's outliers. Like look, Serrano against Katie Taylor for Undisputed, and now we're talking. Okay.
Well, Jessica McCaskill and Katie Taylor are both undisputed champions currently.
Yeah. I mean,
Jessica McCaskill's win, very few people thought that she was the favorite in that fight. You know, she showed something, and she's fun too.
But it's still.
Now,
I get what you're saying about Clarissa. I do. I understand that.
Now, here's the thing, because women are generally they're smaller, they're lighter, right? So Katie Taylor at lightweight, there's 119 fighters.
Right.
So there's
now check
5. There's 5 times the fighters at
check
lightweight.
Check bantamweight.
Let's look at
for the women.
Yeah, let's look at what's
the numbers go up because women are just smaller. Just in general, like from lightweight down, it's just the numbers are just greater. Right? You know what I mean? Where in the men's, it's more around. I know to junior welterweight up to like middleweight, there's more talent there. But with the women, it's in the lower weight classes, like from lightweight down.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of women that are 160 pounds. Most women are lighter. You know what I mean? So let's look at Sinisa Estrada. Now she's a 105 pounder. There's 88 women in her weight class. You know.
Okay.
So
D-Styles, when's your birthday?
March 9th.
Okay, I gotta get you a Canelo shirt.
Oh shit. He's not.
I'll take one too if you're just.
Sure, why not?
My birthday's
Get you a Canelo shirt.
I'll wear it during the show. I'll be like,
that's what I'm saying. I want you to wear it so if they do fight, you can have that shirt on and got something to cry on.
It's gonna be on that one.
That's crazy.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it's gonna be on that.
Just take the pledge, brother. Just take the pledge.
Dude, I said I'd take it.
Make Biba crop top. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh, yo. I'm getting a lot of weird vibes from you, bro, since this thing started.
Bro, don't get me about fellatio. All right, you set the standard up here, and I'm trying to just swim. No,
I feel you, but it was a female though.
What about? But I just wanted to add a point though. Like just when I said we're not going to see Undisputed, I was talking about the men's divisions. Just
No,
to
of
put it
course,
out
yeah.
there. Right. I just wanted to make sure.
I didn't even
everybody
think
understood.
the women's. That didn't even come in my
Well,
mind. But I do
before-
agree
I
with
did
you
my
though.
homework so that everybody would hate me.
We got to be politically correct, and we have to count the women in too. I know what you're
But yo,
saying.
that
I know
better
what-
be undercard though. I'm sorry to cut you off, B, but he was right. That chick was.
No,
fucking
I know.
terrible,
I know.
bro.
I
That
was
was
like,
bad. That was really bad.
I'm not saying.
bad.
Look, I just want to be clear. I'm not saying don't support the women. I'm not saying don't support their fights. I'm not saying.
I
First
know.
of all, I think people should do whatever they want. By the way,
I'm just giving you shit. Bro. You know.
but I will say this, like it's just not the same. I'm
No,
sorry.
especially at 160, 168, you're 100% right. The lighter weight classes are where it's at for the women. There's no,
Like,
there's no,
like,
there's no
I
doubt.
gotta be honest. Like, I'll be watching boxing with people, okay, and they'll like just seriously ask me, "Is this really a world title fight? Like watching women fight? Like I'm being honest.
I've been asked
Like,
that for
and-
some
and-
time.
they gotta pick like and don't get me wrong, they're coming. Like a lot of the Olympians, they have a better amateur system now. That's why they're whooping the older generation's ass right now. They're not even that old,
A
but
lot of them understand promoting better too, I think.
yes. So
Or they have to, right, D? Because they don't have the same, audience. I think here's the thing for me though, right? If it was so easy to do, then why hadn't it been done before Clarissa and Katie and well, Jessica obviously won it from Baracus, but that's my whole thing is that you're absolutely right. It can't be thought of as the same 100%. But that's the other thing is that, this might not be PC, but men and women aren't the same when it comes to sports and athletics. Like, you know what I mean? Like we have this conversation about what it is and what it isn't, and it's just not the same. It's not, it doesn't have to be better or for worse. It's all subjective. So, ultimately, if we don't count them, then there aren't as many undisputed moments this year. You know what I'm saying? So for Beeb to pick 4, there was 3. Women are going to have to be on that list for him to make it.
and look,
Mario.
I know Mario watches other, and you guys have as well. Look, when women's MMA first started, before it blew up or whatever, they did not have a lot of talent. Okay,
Good point.
Gina
Very good
Carano
point.
wasn't that good, guys.
At all.
Okay. Like she was one of the best at the time. That's not saying much. Okay, the talent got better. Women's boxing will get there. It's just not there right now.
I agree.
Mario,
That's
you
a
watch
great point.
WNBA?
I
You
don't.
watch WNBA?
I
Okay,
don't.
me either.
I think the only way women's boxing is actually going to get there is if women actually start to get paid, right? Because think about
That's
it.
another thing. Yeah, the
Think
pay
about
scale is totally different.
Like they don't get paid anything. I
Yeah.
get
That's
what
not
they
true.
get. They bro. I was hearing when for the last fight I was watching. I don't remember who it was because I don't watch so much ladies boxing. I'm trying to get into it, but the announcer was talking about what the girl gets paid and how she has to work a laundromat job and a bakery.
Yeah,
job
I heard that
aside
one.
from
I know what you're talking
boxing.
about.
Yeah,
No,
aside from
I
boxing
hear you.
because she trains so many months and then she does a boxing match and they're paying her under $10,000.
No,
That was
I
under the
hear
Beterbiev
you.
card.
No,
I believe so. Yeah.
was that her? Well, here's the problem.
Yeah, that was
though.
her.
The one,
Mhm.
the one that Clarissa Shield beat.
No, I think it was the other girl. It was the other one.
Okay. Well, here's all I wanted to add because I know we got to move on to the topic, but let me just say this, okay? The women get paid just like the men get paid. This misconception that all the men are making all the money and they're making the big bucks in boxing just isn't true. Like you got to be a big star to make the money. What makes you make money is when you put asses in seats and you sell and you get the ratings and all that. That's when the money comes in, right? Well, that's the way it should be. That's not the case with a lot of boxers, right?
They're
A lot of
coming
them
for you,
do get
Disco.
subsidized money, right? They do, but for the most part, it's Katie Taylor is one of the highest paid boxers on the planet. Okay, man or woman, right? She's one of the top paid combat sport athletes. Period. All right. She's in the 1% or 0.01% in boxing, right? So it's not impossible, and the money is there if they can, get attention, and if the competition gets better, if they get them to 3 rounds, so we could see more action and knockouts, right? then the money will come. I do believe that, just like it did in women's MMA.
No, I agree. I think if that fight with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano happens next year, that's going to be a big, big bonus for female boxing next year. Definitely.
That's a great fight.
I
We
hear
need
they're
that.
trying. I hear they're going to make a real conservative effort. Real,
Yeah.
like from
Yeah.
people I know that follow it closely and are in those camps. They're saying they want to, and all
Yeah.
everything going forward. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real. I just can't really take women fighting seriously because they look, I don't know, just me. I don't like to see two women fight all the time like that.
Yeah,
Like I can understand, but for me personally, I'm just like,
it's subjective. It's subjective.
it's subjective, yeah.
Definitely.
But for me, I'm more like,
I remember
I don't
thinking
mind the
that.
basketball and everything, but the women actually beating the shit out of each other, not really my style.
My-
You know
That's
what's crazy is they're some of the most violent fights I remember in
That's why, because they can't have no
2010s,
fucking defense.
But at the end of the day, and
That's why they have no fucking defense.
but I remember like being Sports would put these fights on, right? And then they would have like co-main events that were like title fights that nobody knew who these women were at the time, and they would put on shows. It was crazy. It kept happening more and more. I watched, and so what I mean, because I haven't been watching women's boxing that long at all. I mean, I would say 5 years at the most that I've really actually been paying attention. So it is.
Yeah, I
agree.
agree with Lance actually. What he just said, they look cute. I don't think they should be fighting each other, man. Two pretty
All
women
right.
just beating the shit out of each other.
All right, let's move on.
For the record, that's Sutter Kane's opinion. I think women should fight.
Let's move on to the next topic, because this is a pretty hot topic, man. This is will Fury and Dillian Whyte get it on? Now, Dillian Whyte is the interim champion now. He's been the mandatory. He's been mentioned as the mandatory for the longest time. I guess he was ranked number 1 for the longest time. Now he's the interim champion, and he's been waiting in the wings. Deontay Wilder didn't fight him. Fury's going back and forth with him, his team going back and forth. But we have to be fair here, because I've been going back and forth trying to play the blame game here, and Dillian Whyte had an opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua. He was offered a fight with Anthony Joshua, and he turned that down. He wanted more money for that fight. Now he's in another situation with Fury, and they're not happy with the money. I guess Bob Arum allegedly offered him, not allegedly, he said the offer was about $5.5 million, and Dillian Whyte wants $10 million. And according to the WBC rules, I believe it's 55-45 if you're an interim champion, and they're looking to get that maximum 45%. And Team Fury, Top Rank, Frank Warren, they want to give him 25%. So Dillian Whyte's been here before, though. Eddie Hearn is complaining about what's being offered, but when he presented that Joshua fight to Dillian Whyte, I believe he offered him $5 million for that fight, and Dillian Whyte said it wasn't enough. So Dillian Whyte's getting these offers, and apparently the money's not good enough. But there's an old adage in boxing: quickest way to get yourself out of a fight is price yourself out of it. And I don't know if that's what Dillian Whyte's doing, but I don't think I can put all the blame here on Fury, because Fury's getting a lot of criticism here. But at the end of the day, the promoters pay the fighters, and if the promoters don't want to agree to this purse split, and then there's a lot of moving parts. So, do you guys think that Fury will vacate this title, or do you think he will eventually fight Dillian Whyte? We'll start with
I think
you,
Fury's the wild
Mario.
card.
We'll start with you, Mario.
Yeah, listen, this is a developing story as of today. Obviously you saw the itinerary yesterday and was able to put together some notes, but I've talked to a handful of people, one person specifically who I'd consider an inside source. I don't like using that term or throwing it around, but this is somebody who is, on the UK beat and does understand it very well. And based on his me talking to him, I'm going to say no, they're not going to fight next year. And I don't think they're going to fight next. Here's the issue as it stands. Okay. Dillian Whyte, and this is according to Arum, as you mentioned, Beeb, from an IFL interview that aired on Tuesday. He said that Whyte was asking for $10 million. Now, a news report came out today saying that the WBC has ruled that Fury will get 80% of the split now, which would leave, Whyte with 20%, if my math's right. And so it's a thing where he was already asking for more than double of that number. So does he, I don't want to use the word come to my senses or that phrasing, but at the end of the day, it does kind of boil down to what is he willing to take? Is he willing to, you know, I don't want to say let go, bygones be bygones, but that is the situation with the WBC. I mean, we were talking about arbitration, we were talking about lawyers, we were talking about all these aspects being thrown into the situation, which only further to complicate it. So as it stands, the purse bid is set for January 11th. Now, we do know that Fury was talking about a non-title fight being fought in March, right? And, you know, names had been thrown out. I don't know how real any of those were. But ultimately, what we're left standing with is, can these guys secure a deal within, 2 weeks? I don't think so. It doesn't move that fast. Now, we do know in the heavyweight division that posturing is a big thing. We saw with the AJ Fury, we're not making it. We are making it. We're not making it. I need this. I need that. It's just posturing most of the time. But in this case, Dillian Whyte with his feet in the sand and Fury willing to go on with his career without making title fights, to me, that suggests that, you know, he doesn't care about the belts. And he thinks that he's reached a magnitude like Floyd where the belts aren't, you know, a big thing. Does he want to be undisputed? I'm sure. Is he willing to forego millions upon millions on his route there? I don't know. I don't think so. So, no, I don't think this fight happens. It just seems a little too complicated to get done right away. If it does, it's not happening until the end of the year.
Yeah. What do you think, Sutter?
I personally think that Tyson Fury is the wild card out of all this. So, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, even though the Dillian Whyte situation is presenting itself, Fury's the wild card, man. You just never know with that guy, man. I'm a Fury fan, but it's just we don't know if he's gonna retire, if he's gonna vacate the belt. We don't know what the hell's gonna go on. So hopefully they fight, get it over with, and then Usyk and the winner of that can fight, because I think Usyk gonna beat Joshua. So and then we can get undisputed and get it popping. Mine is simple, man. But yeah. Tyson's the wild card. He's the super wild card.
Do you think Fury drops the belt, or do you think he will fight Dillian Whyte?
I would be a liar if I told you that I know what Fury's going to do, but I can guess. I do think he'll still be the WBC champion, and I think Fury might be the first ever at heavyweight. He will make history again. He'll be the WBC franchise champion, right? And he'll be free to go fight for Undisputed against the winner of Usyk Joshua. I think that's what they might do. Now, would that spark some controversy? Because then, you know, there's going to be a regular WBC champion around. I don't know, but I think that's what he might do. That's an option. All right. I know that's far-fetched, but I do think that's what might happen. They might not call it franchise champion or something, but it's too much of a headache for the WBC. They already created something and a precedent for something to avoid the whole problem altogether, right? And they could make one guy, elevate him to franchise, make the other guy the Pride champion, right? Have him fight whoever for the regular WBC belt. And then we're going to have a whole fucked up situation. And that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Mario's the real Pride champion.
What do you think, Kenny? How's this thing going to play out, brother?
I'm going to start out by saying that if this fight doesn't happen because of Fury, I don't want to see him boxing ever again. And same goes for Dillian Whyte. Retire. Leave the sport of boxing if this fight doesn't happen for either one of them ducking. Whether it's a financial excuse, whether it's a retirement excuse, his father was saying, oh, he has arthritis in his elbows, whatever the case may be. I'm tired of the excuses. Make the fight happen. The money splits, I don't get into that talk. Although if anything, Whyte does deserve more than 20%, which is what I've been hearing recently. 20%. Whyte should at least get 30%. If he does get 20%, it is what it is. He's not the champion. He's the interim champion, more like a mandatory. You know, it is what it is. He should take whatever money it is that he's getting offered. Forget your 10 million. Who gets a 10 million guarantee? That's a joke. It sounds like he's ducking himself out of that fight. And then with Fury, stop the nonsense and the excuses and stop making yourself sound like a weasel. Oh, I'm thinking about retiring this day. Oh, my elbows are arthritic this day. oh, I deserve most of the money. And you know what D-Style said is extremely plausible. For them to just create that, what is it, diamond or franchise belt type of situation, franchise belt type of situation, that's extremely plausible. And if he does that, I don't want to see him box again. I like it for me.
Yeah.
As I said before, I'm a dude from the hood. In the hood, you protect your pride, you protect your image, you protect yourself. You know, if somebody is making your image look bad, you don't allow that to happen. And I see a lot of emotional seeming things that I don't necessarily agree with. That it's not the way that I carry myself and the way that I behave. And I think that Fury and both Dillian Whyte sound soft. And I don't think that this fight is going to happen. Unfortunately, I'm praying that it does happen for both of their sakes, in my eyes. But I just don't see it happening because there's too many excuses from both sides. D-Style, I know you. I see you. So go ahead.
Well, I just want to read this really quick. The franchise boxer is a special designation and privileged status which the WBC may bestow to a current WBC world champion who is also an elite boxer and who has achieved and maintains the highest of stature in the sport. They can definitely pass that to Tyson Fury.
Well,
it's the worst thing ever, bro. The WBC it's like it would give him validation. Like fans would still be like, "Oh well, what do you mean? He's the top of the top at the WBC. What are you talking about?"
We will bestow to him the highest status as coming back from mental illness and from thinking of suicide, and he come back to beat the most devastating puncher of our generation. This is Tyson Fury, our franchise champion.
Well, there's a lot of things going on at once here. First of all, the WBC is not going to do Dillian Whyte any favors because he took legal action against them.
Great point.
And they're not going to do him any favors. They're already talking about, again, they apply their rules at their discretion. We've said that case by case basis. Mario, you know the catchphrases from Mauricio Sulman. He's been on the Boxing Voice a couple times. I've interviewed him before as well. He has these little caveats at the end of every rule, right? At the discretion, to be determined, whatever, right? So yeah, it says in the rules that if you're an interim champion, you can get as much. It doesn't say you're guaranteed 45%. It says you can get as much as 45%. So that's going to be brought up in the arbitration. Now, this arbitration is supposed to be completed in March, but they're still going to do a purse bids to see if they can come to an agreement. But you don't think that the WBC and the arbitrator are going to read that, that verbiage and point to the fact that it says can get as much. Doesn't say guarantee. And Eddie Hearn saying we're going to go for the maximum. Again, reach for the stars. Hopefully you can catch a couple clouds on the way down. You're not going to get the maximum. But at the very least, I think that he should get about 30%. I think 70-30 is more than fair, right? At the very least. But he's not going to get that 45%, right? And if that's going to be a stickling point and he's going to want to walk away from it, or if Eddie Hearn does win the purse bid, right? How's this all going to play out? Is Eddie Hearn like the WBC is still going to have to determine the split because they can say, we're not going to give you the 45% because it says as much as. We're not going to give you that. We're not bound to give you that. So what's Eddie Hearn gonna? Eddie Hearn can bid an amount of money on it, but he can't determine the split. He can't determine how much he's going to pay his fighter. The WBC is going to end up determining the purse bid splits because that's what the sanctioning body does. So at the end of the day, Dillian Whyte is really dragging this out. And for what? He can still not get what he wants. Now, if they want to give him 20 and, WBC says, we'll give you 25, is he going to walk away by getting a 5% bump? Who knows? But at the end of the day, I think that this is Dillian Whyte's choice, really, because Tyson Fury and Top Rank and the WBC are in the driver's seat here. And like I said, no one's going to go out of their way to do Dillian Whyte any favors. And Eddie Hearn hasn't done him any favors in the past because he stepped over Dillian Whyte and gave the Joshua fight to Big Baby Miller and paid and gave Big Baby Miller more than he gave Dillian Whyte. So it's kind of hypocritical that Dillian Whyte was offered $5 million from Eddie Hearn, right, to fight Joshua, who had 3 belts at the time, and it wasn't too long ago, right? And now that $5.5 million isn't enough, but it was enough when Eddie Hearn was offering it. So this is gonna be interesting. And at the end of the day, like I said, I think Dillian Whyte isn't going to get that 45%. At the very most, I think he may get 30, but I'm thinking more along the lines of 25%. And once again, if he says no, he has a history of turning down fights, pricing himself out. He did it with Joshua. So how bad does he want to be champion?
I agree with that. I also think he'll be soft as hell, Dillian Whyte, if he, because in my opinion, he should take any money that he's offered. I do think he deserves at least 30%, but I think if being a boxer, being a fighter, I think he should take any money that he's offered, because this could take him from regular old Dillian Whyte, the Dillian Whyte that people are talking about got put to sleep by Povetkin, the Dillian Whyte that got put to sleep by AJ, to Dillian Whyte with a belt. The champion Dillian Whyte, if he thinks he could win, take that money and take that fight and go take that belt, and then put yourself in a path to a potential huge big money fight. You know,
WBC is going to get behind Fury, and they're going to get behind Top Rank in this. And regardless of who wins this purse bid in January, I do not think the WBC is going to give Dillian Whyte 45%. So he's going to have to take less than 45%. How much less than that will the WBC determine? That remains to be seen. But I feel pretty strongly in saying that I suspect greatly that it's not going to be that 45%. I don't think it's going to be more than 30%. I just
want to see the fight.
That's being generous. So that's just the way I see it.
But speaking
of the heavyweight division, we got a big pay-per-view coming up this Saturday, and I have to hold back the laughter because I don't mean to disrespect either fighter that's headlining this card, but for this to be on pay-per-view, it's mind-boggling. But it is only going to be $40. So the big question is, are you guys, because it's only $40 and there's really not much going on this weekend, there's no boxing at all going on, will you break down and buy this fight? And who do you think is going to win? Because both guys really have seen better days. Let's start with you, Mario. This is Luis Ortiz. I'm talking versus Charles Martin, obviously.
Yeah, Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin. I think here's the thing, and I'm not, again, trying to rationalize or anything like that, but I think when we talk about this fight, it's only fair to talk about it as like a heavyweight not extravaganza, but like a heavyweight show, because that's really what this is, right? They're not just selling Ortiz Martin. Yes, they're at the top of the bill. Yes, that's the only fight of any real notoriety, and those two guys are really the only ones that have ever been in there with big fighters. But you know, Frank Sanchez, Carlos Negron, Rice and Coffey, like these are all fights, even Gerald Washington on the card. These are all fights that they're trying to use to sell this fight. Is it worth the pay-per-view is the question. No, it's not. Am I watching? Yes, I am. I'm not buying. Fortunately, my family, and I don't know if everybody else's family's like this or whatever, but you know, when there's like a Cowboy game on, or like a Spurs game, even though I'm not a Spurs fan, or boxing or UFC, you know, we get together, we watch it. It's just something that we use as a means, like a fireplace in the middle of the room. You know, it's something that gives everybody, we're able to focus our attention, right? It's just something that we use like that. So because there is a fight, my dad's ordering it just because he has no idea who's on the card. He's never heard the name Charles Martin in his life. He might remember Luis Ortiz, but you know, he doesn't know these people. But yes, I am going to watch it, but I wouldn't buy it. I don't think it's worth the $40. Maybe if it was like $19.99, I would say yes, but to me, it's not. This is just like a personal stand of mine, my own personal gauge of what I think is worth and not. I'm not saying that you're dumb if you buy it or whatever, but ultimately, this shouldn't be on pay-per-view. This should be a fun card that everybody's talking about getting ready for, because it is fun. It's a bunch of heavyweights. Like, what's more fun, whether you know them or not, than seeing huge punches delivered? You know, that's what had made boxing famous to begin with, but this isn't the quality of this isn't the quality of fights that should be going on pay-per-view. And it's a shame because the matchups and the potential for this fight could have created a lot of boxing fans to start 2022 if it were on regular TV. Unfortunately, it's not, and very few people are going to watch it because of that.
Kenny, you going to buy this? And what do you think of the fight in general?
Definitely not gonna buy it. I may just catch some highlights afterwards, or wait 2-3 days down the line and catch it on YouTube, or I may just join the young people and watch it grainy. No, I definitely have King Kong winning this fight. I don't think Charles Martin is gonna win this fight. King Kong is old. You know what I'm saying? But I still think he's going to win this fight. Charles Martin is a big dude with T-Rex arms, and I don't think he has any power. I mean, he's a heavyweight, so he's a heavyweight dude, still got power. But I just don't think that he got the power to offset King Kong. So how long it took Deontay Wilder to put the man down. And I think that King Kong is just more skilled. I'm probably not going to watch it live unless, like I said, I do the young people grainy stuff. But I think that's disrespectful. I'm starting to move away from that. So I don't know if I'm gonna watch it live at all. I support boxing. I just can't support that. I gotta support Kenny T more than I gotta support the boxing pay-per-views, and that it just is what it is.
D, what do you think, man? You gonna buy this? You gonna watch it? Are you interested in this fight?
Look, I'm not gonna buy it. That's number one. But I'm gonna watch it. What's the nursery rhyme again? Roll, roll, roll your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Free 99. You know what I mean? It's the way it is. Sorry. Now, I had somebody shame me in saying, well, just real quick. I had somebody that was trying to shame me on Twitter saying, you should be supportive of this. I mean, there's 2 Cubans headlining and co-headlining. Maybe this means the world to Cubans. Like, okay, you really think that's why PBC put on this card and put it on pay-per-view so they could charge Cubans? Well, why not just give it to the Cubans for free like everybody else? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so they're hustling the Cubans. Like, well, what are they doing here? So no, I'm not going to buy it, man. But it looks like a good card. It would have been awesome if it was on free TV. Just saying.
Yeah. Sutter, what do you think, man? There's nothing going on Saturday, right? And there's hasn't been a lot of boxing on these last couple of weeks because of the holidays. Are you going to be itching to watch a fight? And because of that, it's only $40. Are you going to break down and buy this pay-per-view?
Nah, man, I ain't watching it, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm really not. I'll probably just catch the highlights the next day or something, and I'm not even gonna probably be home that night. But even if I was home, I'm not watching it, man. And I do got Ortiz winning.
Earlier in the show, what he said he was gonna be, what he said he was gonna do when he started the show, that's what he's gonna be doing first.
My brother. See, pimp no pimp. But yeah, nah, yo, I'm not really. When I saw the commercial for this, me and my dad saw it, and we were both like, "What the fuck?" and stuff, like, because he's a boxing fan too, and we were both just like, "Oh my gosh, like, why?" and stuff. So, but if you want to get the prediction, I got Ortiz in like 4. I don't think Charles Martin has it, so I got Ortiz in 4. But I think the undercard was would they have the other dude, right? I forgot who else is on that undercard. But long story short, I'm not watching it. Are you watching it, Beat?
Remember I told you I spent $700 on pay-per-views?
Damn, B, you a fucking bro. They need to give you a Canelo shirt, a Conor Benn shirt.
Guess what that tally is going to be? Guess what that tally is going to be on Sunday morning?
God damn, 704. 740.
740, because I'm probably gonna break. I always say I'm not gonna buy them, and then I start getting I start jonesing, I start sweating, I start getting the tingling in my body. Like I'm like a crackhead when it comes to these pay-per-views, man. I can't stop.
Not Philly, man. You like D-Styles when it comes to Canelo. I get it. And so I totally get it. I get it.
You gotta leave him alone, man. But yeah, I always try to like act all tough and shit, and then
We can't hear you, bro.
I always try to act all tough and shit, and then I always break down and buy him, man.
No, I feel you, B. But B, I was talking about D Styles. We couldn't hear him.
Oh, okay.
No. What I'm saying is that I don't want to talk back to Sutter Kane. I made him cry earlier. I felt bad. You know what I mean? So,
that was my allergies, bro. That was my allergies and stuff for real. But no, I really do want to see the numbers on this fight. That would be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be low. That's gonna
be very interesting.
$40, man. So I don't know, man.
You got to be a true boxing fan,
New Year's
bro.
Day.
Like,
New Year's Day.
That's what I'm saying. New Year's Day. Who's home New Year's Day? Like,
Beef's
on a
really
Saturday.
That there's like 10 states, right, or less that carry this whole nation, and Beef's from one of those states. You know what I mean? So that's what he does. He carries the sport. Like he's the one that buys it. You know what I mean? It's in his nature. It's a Boston thing. It's a Massachusetts thing. You know what I mean?
It's gotta be, man.
He has to tax himself somehow with boxing. You know what I mean? It's just
somebody asked me if I bought the Jake Paul fight, and there's one reason why I didn't buy it, because I thought it was going to be on Sunday. I forgot, and it was on Saturday. But if it was on if I knew it was on Saturday, I probably would have bought that too.
Because you're a big Frank.
I actually watched the end of that fight.
I'm just a loser, man. That's all I can tell you.
Hey, you're a loser in boxing, but you're a winner when it comes to beating the odds, and that's what counts. That's why Beef has the money to buy these, because his betting's never wrong. I mean, he's got what do you got? 6-7 figures now down these in that. He's getting there. All right, you ain't got to tell us. It's all right.
Got a tax shelter over in the Caymans.
Those of us that know, we know. That's all right.
But guys, this was the last roundtable of 2021. It's been a great year, and thank all of you guys, Kenny, D Style, as always, Mario, Sutter Kane. Always a pleasure having you guys on. Before we close out, man, we'll pass it around. Everyone can shout out their YouTube channel, social media. We'll start with you, Kenny.
Thank you. Didn't start the year on the Roundtable or on YouTube. I ended the year on the Roundtable on YouTube. Thank you guys all for having me. It's a pleasure podcasting. It's a pleasure being here. Follow me on Twitter. Well, actually, let's just go straight to YouTube. Knocked Out by Kenny on YouTube. That's what I'm trying to build. From my YouTube, you can get everything else, Twitter, Instagram. So yes, just follow me on YouTube or subscribe to my YouTube channel, Knocked Out by Kenny. Please support and help me grow. We grow
Absolutely,
together.
Kenny. Doing a great job, man. Thank you as always for coming on, man. See you soon, man.
Thank you, brother.
Peace, bro.
Peace out, man. All right, Sutter, the man, the killer.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm just grateful and happy that I could be on, you know what I'm saying, the Roundtable. D Styles brought me on. I appreciate everything. Y'all brought me on, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just happy that I could sit here and just talk about Canelo in front of D Styles and just a lot of things, I feel good about this, So
glad I made your day.
Yeah, I'm just happy, you know what I'm saying? I'm just a happy person and everything. Finally met Mario. Well, I met Mario a couple times before then, but still just high five to everybody, and follow me, Sutter Kane, on YouTube, Sutter Kane NSD, Instagram, Sutter Kane NSD, or just Google me, Sutter Kane. Check out the album, Violence Solves Everything. I got a new one coming out, songs inspired by Canelo Alvarez. It's gonna be pretty awesome, and we're gonna make it rock. So I'm out. Happy New Year to everybody. I'll see you, and I'm out. Peace.
All right, be good, man. Take care. Right. Mario, what's going on, brother? I think Mario froze up. We'll go to you. We'll go up to you. We'll go to you, D Style. Thank you as always. Thank you as always for coming on, man, and orchestrating this whole thing.
Well, first of all,
I don't know. I guess it ended, right? Oh,
no, it's still on.
My bad. Go ahead. Live. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let D finish up.
Well, really quick. Thanks to everybody that came on in the chat, etc. Everybody wants Undisputed. I get it. Now, you know that song, like, you can't always get what you want. You remember that song?
Yes.
But if you try sometimes,
that's my theme song.
You'll get franchise belts and pride belts, and we're gonna get super champions. You guys are gonna get swamped, like you're gonna be given super champions, franchise champions, secondary champions, whole champions, 2-tier champions. Like there's going to be more debates about whether the dude's undisputed or not because he vacated to become an upper tier champion and beat this guy, but that doesn't really, that's what we're going to get. Okay, more confusion. Okay, more people losing friendships over it. You know what I mean? Like starting debates and then it ending with like wanting to shoot each other. I've always said this, that if things keep escalating, like somebody's gonna end up shooting somebody. Right? You know, I hope that doesn't happen.
Hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, let's not take it that far. Okay, in all seriousness, it's just boxing talk at the end of the day. But I don't want to be a pessimist, but it is the sport of boxing, and every time it has a good year, it just finds a way to fuck shit up the next year. It's just the way. It's just how boxing is, you know. So I think we're gonna get a lot more of what I said, not the other. Peace out,
Mario, and then there were two.
And then there were two. Listen, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mario Munguia. I got my boxing podcast dropping at the very beginning of the year, Infighting Podcast. The channel's live, but there's nothing on it. Just go and follow so that you can stay tuned. And yeah, man, thanks, brother. I appreciate it. One last thing I do want to say is remember that Ioka's fighting on New Year's Eve. These Japanese cards are always fun to watch. Beeb has been around since they started. I remember we used to talk about him, and it was like a date that I always felt was not realized as much in boxing, but the Japanese crowds, they show up for him. And so it's not the fight that we were supposed to get with Ankaz, but it still should be a good one with Fukunaga. So definitely check that out at Marmugi on Twitter. Peace.
All right, everybody. Wish everybody a happy new year. You can check me out every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, Ringside Reporter live here with Eric Lorda. The podcast every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And you can always catch me on the Roundtable, whether it be here, whether it be on Maestro's channel or D-Styles channel. We're always out here grinding, and we're going to continue to grind in 2022. Thanks, everyone, to the chat. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Have a happy new year and have a safe New Year's Eve, and take care of everybody and be safe. Peace out. Have a great night.